Hey guys, it's me, Shane. I'm here to give you some more MCU news. Technically, I'm going to give you one news story, I'm going to give you two rumors. I usually do not dabble in rumors, but I will explain to you why I'm dabbling in these rumors when we get to the end. So I'm just going to go ahead and address them in order. Please stick with me and thank you for joining me in this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit notification bell to get notified of more videos like this every Thursday. I also do other videos on Sundays. That's 2 on Sundays, 1 on Thursday. So let's get into this. And if I could, I had pulled up some sources for these as well. For our first story, Benedict Cumberbatch playing Doctor Strange is going to be in Spider-Man 3. This comes by way of, oops, this comes by way of, I had the Hollywood Reporter up. I'm going to make sure to put these links in the description down below. So Benedict Cumberbatch is joining. That's pretty amazing and pretty interesting. You're probably asking yourself, what is going on with Doctor Strange 2? Well, the release dates, technically Spider-Man 3 is supposed to show up in December or November of 2021, and Doctor Strange 2 is supposed to come out in March of 2022. So, just hold on to your hats. I'll explain more on that later. Rumor number one, which is very strong rumor. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are in talks to join the Spider-Man 3 movie. Wow. So, this is kind of sound like we're going to get a live-action Spider-Verse, doesn't it? It really does. That's kind of a thing that people have been clamoring for since we saw the first Into the Spider-Verse movie, starring Miles Morales. Two different Peter Parkers, Peter B. Parker and Peter Parker of Miles Morales' universe. Penny Parker, Gwen Stacy as Ghost Spider / Spider-Gwen, Spider-Man Noir, who was played by Nicolas Cage, and Spider-Ham. So, you can probably see where I'm going with this. If you can't, just hold on, I'll explain more. The third rumor, which is very much the loosest of the two rumors, but I have a feeling that it still has a little bit of credibility, is that Tom Hardy is rumored to be wanted in this movie, Spider-Man 3, by Kevin Feige. Wow. So, why did I rapid fire give you these three things in under 5 minutes? That is because they are very much all connected. So, just wrote down some things so I can just go in order and explain my thinking. So, WandaVision is the Disney Plus show that's going to be coming out in December. Was supposed to come out earlier on this year, but due to the global situation that's going on, things have to be pushed back. And WandaVision is essentially going to explain why is Vision alive? What is going on with Wanda? Well, if you know anything about Wanda Maximoff from the main Marvel Universe, which is 1610, of the comic books, you know that Wanda has not just broken reality once or twice, and I'm not even talking about using her powers to fight people. She has broken the universe with House of M, where mutants were the majority and humans were the minority when it came to being like mutants. And she has also said no more mutants, which dwindled the mutant population down to 199. Now, I didn't just outright kill a lot of people, although some people died because they were in the midst of using their powers. It did depower millions and millions of mutants. Wanda Maximoff is that powerful, especially when she has an unstable psyche. She actually physically manifested the children that she has with Vision that she had lost with them. They were reincarnated as Speed and Wiccan, which are her twin boys. Haha, she has a twin brother. Another rumor I actually heard was that the young man who was playing Quicksilver from the Fox X-Men movies was going to be Quicksilver in WandaVision. And there's very much some validity to that, because as we saw in Spider-Man 2 Far From Home, J.K. Simmons was brought back to be J. Jonah Jameson. And like I reported last week, Jamie Foxx has been confirmed to be Electro again. So, and follow me here. WandaVision's first, where she cracks the universe. And I'm going to assume that at the end of the show, nothing is really fixed. That Wanda is probably still in peril. Then we have Spider-Man 3, which will have some type of... I'm trying to anticipate what the tagline would be, because all the movies within the MCU tie-in with Sony collaboration with Spider-Man have home in the title. So if you have an idea, if you have an idea what the title might be, please let me know. What's some funny thing with home? As we remember from Spider-Man 2 Far From Home, Peter Parker was outed as being Spider-Man and set up to be the murderer of Mysterio, Quentin Beck, which we all know is BS. If you've seen the movie, if you haven't, spoiler, you should have seen it already. Go buy it on Blu-ray. Good movie. So, this begs the question, with Doctor Strange showing up, and there's always been an MCU connection in the Spider-Man movies to anchor him. First movie was Iron Man, that's his protege, he's showing in the ring. Part 2 was Nick Fury, although a Skrull, but Nick Fury, pushing him along. And this would be Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, and I'm going to agree with Grace Randolph on this one. Doctor Strange has a good connection with Peter, especially in the MCU, because they both died in Infinity War. I mean, they both died. They both met each other for the first time in that movie, and they both suffered the loss of Tony Stark. It'd actually be pretty interesting to see if Peter actually kind of blames Doctor Strange for that, because Doctor Strange says there's one reality where they live, and Peter thinks that he pushes him down that road, or maybe he's there to help Peter finally get over his grief. Because I don't fully believe that he's over his grief at the end of Spider-Man 2. Pardon me. Especially given that all the trouble he's in right now. But what other things that could compound his grief and his problems? The universe collapsing in on itself, and we get in the live-action Spider-Verse. What if, and I'm hoping this happens, what if all of a sudden from Spider-Man 2, we have Dr. Octopus. Dr. Octopus is alive, and all of a sudden he sees Spider-Man. He's the old Doc Ock. He's attacking. What if William Dafoe shows up as Green Goblin? Then we have Andrew Garfield's Electro coming in. We still have Vulture that's around. We have a Shocker in this MCU universe, and we have a Scorpion. What I'm saying is, Spider-Man 3 will have 3 different Spider-Man and a juxtaposed Sinister Six. That is my belief. And it's very easy to do this because, honestly, we've already seen every member of the original Sinister Six already. We've seen Mysterio, Vulture, Sandman was in Spider-Man 3. Green Goblin was part of the second incarnation, but we're going to count him. Dr. Octopus was in Spider-Man 2. He started it. And we even had hints of Dr. Octopus in The Amazing Spider-Man. Electro was in The Amazing Spider-Man. And we also had Rhino. We had Rhino in The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as well. It's very feasible that the main villains for this will be the Sinister Six and Doctor Strange trying to help Peter Parker out, but at the same time, he's going to be in and out trying to close rifts and trying to make sure the universe is intact. I personally believe that at the end of this movie, we're probably going to get Miles Morales. And it's very easy, if they don't want to pick a live-action counterpart right now, that, remember in the Into the Spider-Verse, all of the characters had their own artwork because they're technically from different universes. You can technically have the cartoon Miles Morales show up. If you want it. If you want to be ballsy and do that, you can do that. At the same time, Miles Morales has a invisibility camouflage thing. He can be invisible, use his shocking powers to incapacitate one or two of the Sinister Six, and voila. They say, well, who did that? Who was that? And you see him in the background saying, "I see you later, Peter." Flies off. It'd be a waste of a moment if they didn't do that. I know some people's fear will probably be, oh, here we go, another Spider-Man 3 where they're doing too much. This fits because the MCU likes to stretch things out. They like to show different parts. And honestly, this would be a great way of tying Sony's ridiculous, just disjointed movie verse because I don't care if you like the movies, you can like what you like. They're disjointed. The fact that they made a Venom without Spider-Man just blows my mind. But if they got Tom Hardy to come in and somehow this juxtaposed Sinister Six goes, yeah, this guy's a bad guy, this guy's evil, it could fool Tom Hardy because I haven't seen Venom yet, but well, I haven't seen the whole movie. I have seen some of the movie, but from what I've seen, he's not really all that smart. Eddie Brock wasn't the brightest banana in the bunch, so it could be easy just to say, yeah, this guy's evil. We have a juxtaposed Sinister Six. Venom turn well, juxtaposed Sinister, Sinister Seven. He turns on them. Then he gets the spider to represent them, and finally we have a correct Venom ish. That is my deep belief. I do believe we're gonna get all three Spider-Man. What's better than one Spider taking on the six than three? Uh, why am I speaking on this rumor? And there's actually another rumor imposed by Inverse. They believe that the leaking is not really a leaking, but Doctor Strange being in Spider-Man 3 is going to show a hint of Morlun. Morlun, not Merlin. Morlun, for those of you who are not in the know, was the main villain for the Into the Spider-Verse comic series. Very successful comic series. I really much suggest that you pick up the trade paperbacks for that series. Pick up even all the side stories. Amazing, very amazing. The Superior Spider-Man, one of my favorite Spider-Man, show up in that book, and that's when Doctor Octopus was in Peter Parker's body. His mind was in his body. And it's amazing how they play with time, how they play with different universes, because we get the Ultimates universe, which ends up going away due to the Secret Wars events, but we play with that. We play with the fact that there was a Mayday Parker. For those of you who read comics in the late 90s, early 2000s, remember when they continued on with the story and a lot of people had children? Wolverine had a kid with Psylocke and Peter and Peter and Mary Jane. They had a daughter, Mayday Parker, named after May Parker. She took over being Spider-Man. She had the Ben Reilly suit. All these different Spider-Mans, different incarnations from different points of time, even some that were just made up for that point, they had to fight different versions of Moylan. Whenever Peter was doing something that dealt with the multiverse, he had to deal with this guy that wanted to kill him. They even had Moylan killing the Marvel vs. Capcom version of Spider-Man. Very funny panel, too. I don't think that's going to happen in here because, contradictory to what I was saying earlier about the Sinister Six and the other two Spider-Man and Doctor Strange not being too much because they fit the story, Moreland would be too much, and I feel that Sony should be smart and save Moreland for a Into the Spider-Verse 2. And it's kind of sad that Spider-Man 3 might steal some of Into the Spider-Verse's thunder. I don't think it will. I think it just make people. It will have people be able to understand what's going on. If you understand Into the Spider-Verse, you're going to understand Spider-Man 3. You're going to understand WandaVision. And you're definitely going to understand Doctor Strange 2. Because Doctor Strange 2 is called The Multiverse of Madness, which I reported last week. They're getting like Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt to play a different version of Tom Cruise. Play a different version of Tony Stark and Black Widow. And that's the multiverse saga will start with WandaVision. It'll end with Doctor Strange 2, but Sony will be able to reap the benefits of having all their different disjointed verses coming together with some very strategic Marvel planning. Now, again, why do I think this is going to happen? Because of Flashpoint. Flashpoint is still a story that WBDC wants to tell with their opening Flash movie. They even got hints of that within the Justice League, where Flash was going through a different part in time. Was able to see what would happen if Superman was evil. This is actually what Kevin Feige did when he heard about not just Justice League, but it was Batman v Superman. He greenlighted the Civil War movie. The Russos confirmed that they wanted to do that, and Kevin Feige was iffy about it. And the moment that the Batman vs Superman was announced, he said, "Go ahead with it, and I'll do you one better." They finally got that Spider-Man deal going through. Kevin Feige is a master at weaving the story of the MCU. I know a lot of people have an issue with a producer being the main front for this, but it's good and it's nice that there's been one producer for all these because he's able to make sure things keep on a straight and narrow path while at the same time being able to tell separate stories. All the Spider-Man movies can be separate stories. While at the same time, we know for a fact that you've seen Iron Man. We know you've seen the first Iron Man. And we know for a fact that people told you that Spider-Man was in Civil War. You probably watched Civil War, so when you see the first Spider-Man movie, you're cool. You don't even have to get a background on how he got his powers because you've seen 5 other Spider-Man movies. The 3 Tobys and the 2 Andrew Garfield movies. This will be fine. This will be amazing. If Kevin Feige can pull this off, not just for Spider-Man 3, but for Doctor Strange 2, to have all these different actors playing these different incarnations and us seeing different versions of the characters that we know. And I'm probably reiterating some things I said last week. I really didn't want to go back and double check on that because I find some validity to these rumors, not just because Grace Randolph has her sources, but because I've been seeing some reputable places speak on this, and some places are holding off. The Hollywood Reporter always holds off on things. New Yorker always holds off on things, but I'm pretty sure if they choose to put Tom Hardy in this, which he will fit, this will finally bring everything together, and maybe Sony will be appreciative, and we can get Spider-Man for just more than 5 or 6 movies. So, tell me what you think. Are you excited to see a live-action Spider-Verse? What do you think was going to happen when all these different Spider-Men meet? I'm pretty sure since Peter's the youngest out of all of them, he's going to be the one that's hyperactive. Andrew Garfield's way too cool, so he's going to be the cool, nerdy one. At the same time, Tobey Maguire's just, he's I hate to call him a crybaby, but he is. Sorry, Toby. So I'm interested in seeing how those 3 are going to interact. I'm really hyped up to see Sinister Six. I've been waiting for this since The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Cannot wait. So please, once again, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can keep up to date with these things I'm bringing to you. Very soon, I'm getting some video editing, which I hope to increase not just the quality, but the sound of all this. So thank you if you've been with me for this long. Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate it. So please, be good, be blessed, wear a mask, Black Lives Matter, and I would definitely see you next time.